Okay then, big week here in AEW. Last week we had the world title on the line. This week we have, of course, the TNT title on the line. CM Punk versus Sammy Guevara. But you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the name, you've seen the everything. You saw the thing at the end of last episode. Jake Roberts in game has passed away. So today it's the Jake Roberts Memorial Dynamite. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another AEW video, a special Monday AEW video, ain't you lucky? There's no WWE 04 network save this week, so you get an extra one of these today. And we are doing the Jake Roberts Memorial Show. Sadly, he's passed away in game, which has made me have to change some of my plans, but we'll get to that. So we're going to do a memorial show. It's a big show anyway, like TNT title on the line. We're going to do Lance Archer versus Keith Lee. We're still doing that. We're going to do Jay Lethal versus Pac. It's a big show. So let's see how we get on. Dynamite first. If you're liking this whole series so far, I've sorted the playlist out as well. So if you haven't watched the others, go back. Yeah, if you're liking it, drop a like on this video now. Let me know. Comment down below what's been your favourite thing so far. And we'll get on with Dynamite. This should be interesting. Alright then, Dynamite in the Great Lakes area kicks off with Buddy Matthews getting a pre-show victory over Fuego del Sol for a 53. Buddy Matthews 55, Fuego del Sol 37. So Buddy really carried it. A silver bullet. I don't know what his name his finisher actually is, to be honest, but I can't remember it being called that. Yeah, good pre-show match, Buddy. Big talent. Like a lot of the people on the AEW roster, finding the right spots for people is proving difficult. So yeah, I wanted to see what he could do, and he's impressed. We also threw 10 men into a 10-man tag here, as you can see, 5 on each side. Dustin Rhodes team with Jake Hager, Orange Cassidy, and Top Flight against the Gun Club and the Butcher and the Blade for a 49. Yeah, it's about right. The Guns really bring it down. 25 for Austin, 21 for Colton. Everyone else around that 40 mark. Orange Cassidy, the best of luck with the 61, of course. Interesting. Billy Gunn, Colton Gunn are both off their game, which is annoying. But yeah, that's fine for the pre-show. We'll move on to the start of the main show, and we kick off Dynamite tonight with a 10-bell salute. You couldn't start it any other way. Jake Roberts Memorial Show. Just sort of put the best in the same. It's a 10-bell salute. You get the point. And yeah, we pay tribute to the man himself, the creator of the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts for a 74. But what we're going to try and do is continue with the show, continue with storylines. I'm not doing a no storyline show because it just doesn't seem right. We're going to continue with storyline. We're going to change a couple of things. For example, tonight the main event would have been the TNT Championship on the line. Instead, we're going to go with Lance Archer and Keith Lee for obvious reasons. So 74 to kick us off. Let's go to the ring though. It is Pac versus Jay Lethal in the opening contest for a 54. Okay, Jay Lethal slightly off his game, and he is a low pop. I'm trying to build him up, hence why he's got a win over Pac again with a pinfall after using a foreign object. That would work. I've got written down low blow behind the referee's back, but that kind of works too. Pac 64, 46 from Jay Lethal, who, like I say, was off his game, but gets the win. That will boost him. The idea here is he's cheated to win. He's got 2 wins over Pac now. Confidence through the roof for Mr. Lethal himself. Okay, that's fine. Backstage, Serena Deeb and Layla Hirsch are going through tape about the AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa. They're talking about the loss on Rampage, so to speak. The tag loss, and yeah, Serena tells Layla to put it right tonight. It's Serena Deeb versus Layla Hirsch later on Dynamite. But we will go back to the ring because Miro's in action against Lee Moriarty for a 47, and a squash match here for Miro. 63 from him, 41 from Lee. Bring that down to a 47's a little harsh. Like, Lee Moriarty is a enhancement talent in the company, no doubt about it. Miro's a guy we wanted to get some momentum back after the loss in the world title match last week. Miro's not done with Hangman Page though, and he says after the match, cuts a promo in the ring for a 71, much better. Miro says, you know what, Hangman Page got very, 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 very lucky last week, but it's okay. That's okay, you know, if you like being a unworthy champion. And that's how Miro is playing mind games to try and get back at Hangman Page, and Hangman Page and his cowboy mind might just fall for it, to be fair. Okay, let's go back to the ring. We'll go to break, come back from break, and with another matchup, the tag champs are in action. It is Jungle Express against the Best Friends for a 58. This is pretty good. Jungle Boy carrying it. 48 from Luchasaurus, really low actually. 54 from Chuck Taylor. 51 from Trent, and a win for the tag champs over a pretty game babyface tag team in the Best Friends. Yeah, they pushed them. They got 16 minutes to have a pretty good match. And yeah, a win for Jungle Boy over Chuck Taylor with a Canadian Destroyer. No problem there. Post-match, Jungle Express have had enough of the House of Black and they called them out. The lights go out, the lights come back on. The House of Black are there for a 53 rated segment. And the 6-man brawl takes place. We are going wild here. All six men, words, are brawling. And it leads to a referees coming out. All the referees coming out, splitting them up, etc. The lights go out, the lights come back on, and the House of Black have disappeared. But yeah, 6-man brawl. House of Black couldn't quite get the advantage here, but yeah, that's fine for the tag teams. Okay, backstage, talking about tag teams, the Varsity Blondes for 41. This is pretty good actually. Are discussing last week. They seem to be on the same page a little bit. Friendly banter, we're going to say here, but it's getting a little bit dicey. And it ends in this argument about who is the better man, Griff Garrison or Brian Pillman Jr. Julia Hart can only watch on as they agree to a friendly competition next week. Griff Garrison versus Brian Pillman Jr. next week on Dynamite. Let's see who is the better Varsity Blonde. Let's see indeed, 41. Okay, we'll go from that to Hikaru Shida approaching Thunder Rosa backstage, saying, if you need help in this match, I've got your back. I'm going to be at ringside to make sure Serena Deeb doesn't get involved, which, yeah, Thunder's happy with. And they say afterwards, we can settle who is better. Hikaru Shida has her sights on the Women's Championship, but tonight she's going to be in the corner of the champion. So it's Thunder Rosa versus Layla Hirsch, and it gets a 47. Solid. They didn't click, which is a problem, but it's still pretty solid. There's a lot of stuff happened here. There's a lot of stuff. That is not what I writ at all. That is not even what I put in the game. What? So I put in the game double count out. What? Anyway, it's kind of a sports entertainment finish here. It protects Layla Hirsch a bit, so it's fine. We're going to say Thunder Rosa defeats Layla Hirsch then. Fine. Layla Hirsch pinned Thunder Rosa with a moonsault, only for the previously unconscious referee to recover and reverse the decision because Layla Hirsch had been counting out. During the match, we also saw Hikaru Shida running and attack Layla. No, Serena Deeb also attacked Rosa. What I've got written here is a double DQ as all 4 women paired off, so Thunder and Layla, Hikaru and Serena, pair off on the outside, brawling, and it leads to the double count out. I think that's a better finish than what the game's come up with here. That's a really odd one. Giving a win to the champion, though, so be it. 47 is really solid for these guys. Thunder is at a good level. Layla isn't, to be fair, but she's getting better. And yeah, 47, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Backstage, the absolute Ricky Starks is cutting a promo on Jon Moxley for 72. He says, Moxley knows how good Ricky Starks is. That's why Moxley wanted to shake his hand. He knows how good Ricky Starks is, and the world should too. It's this heel thing where everyone else is going, but didn't he beat you? And Ricky's like, yeah, but he knows how good I am. You know what I mean? It's pretentious heel stuff from Ricky Starks, and it will build to somewhere later on in the week. Okay, backstage, Hangman Page is cutting a promo on Miro. He says, you know what? Miro wants another shot. I'll give him one. I will give him another shot. In 2 weeks, a Battle of the Belts 2. We're going to be doing that special event on week 2. So basically, this episode There's a following episode of TV, then Battle of the Belts is what we're going to do. And he says, you know what, he can get his rematch, no problem at all. But before he can go any further, his promo is interrupted by a celebrating Jay Lethal, who now believes he can beat absolutely anyone. Hangman Page challenges him to prove it, and the match is made for next week. It is Hangman Adam Page against Jay Lethal on Dynamite next week. 73, really good backstage segment. That's really good from Adam Page. Very pleased with that. Okay, let's slow it down a bit. Let's talk about the TNT Championship. Now, as I said, this match would have been the main event. Sammy Guevara versus CM Punk for the TNT title is a main event on any episode. But not this one. This is the Jake Roberts Memorial Show, so we are going to put Lance Archer and Keith Lee in the main event. So let's do the TNT title match. Now, let's see how this will go. Now, CM Punk is a big talent, but he did lose to MJF in the save, so he wants to get back to it. He wants to get back to it, and he wants to win that title from Sammy Guevara. He beat Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho didn't take that kindly, and Jericho's made it clear he's here to protect Sammy Guevara. So what will that mean? Let's go to the next page, shall we? Because your winner and still TNT champion for 69. Okay, not bad. Could have been better. Sammy Guevara, following interference from Chris Jericho. That's right, Jericho came down to ringside during the match. Sammy didn't want him there, but he came down to ringside. And when the referee was distracted with Sammy Guevara checking on him, maybe on he'd been thrown to the outside. Is what I've got in my head. The referee checks on him. CM Punk turns into Chris Jericho, who attacks him with a pipe to the back of the head. CM Punk knocked out clean. Sammy Guevara gets up, sees Punk down, doesn't quite understand why, but knows this is a championship match. He's got to do what it takes. He hits the 630. 1, 2, 3. Sammy Guevara defeats CM Punk. That should help his popularity in game. I did try and protect Punk as much as possible, so let's let it be interesting to see what the popularity is on that. But 69 could be better, but could be worse. I am going to plan to do a rematch. I'll tell you this now, a rematch between these two, a Battle of the Belts 2. So let's see what that match does compared to this one. But yeah, I'm kind of glad it did a main event, but I still think this would do better than the actual main event, thinking about it. So yeah, interesting to see how the show goes after that. Sammy Guevara wins. Not the way he would have wanted to, though, when he looks back on the tape, I'm sure. And CM Punk definitely won't be happy. Backstage, Adam Cole approaches the Young Bucks for a 59. Once again, he says, you know what? I'm going to ask you guys as friends for one last chance. One last chance for this to work. Me, you two, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. One last chance. The 5 of us teaming together on Rampage. Young Bucks reluctantly agree. That's what we're going to go with. They reluctantly agree. So it's the Young Bucks, Adam Cole and Red Dragon against the Dark Order on Rampage. 59. We're heading somewhere. Okay, main event time then. Like I say, it is the Jake Roberts Memorial match. So we are going to do Keith Lee versus Lance Archer. And it gets a 52. Okay. About where I was expecting, if I'm really honest. It's what I thought it would do, hence why it would have been a good mid-card match in the show, but it's had to be the main event for obvious reasons. Lance Archer, I don't know why it says a potential future heel turn, because Lance Archer is a heel already. Anyway, look, I'm really confused by that. And that doesn't bode well for what's about to happen. Keith Lee beats Lance Archer with a fast roll-up. And the idea is these two men go at it. They go at it in respect to Jake Roberts. And they earn each other's respect here. Can you see where I'm heading? I thought Lance Archer, there's no way he can be a heel going forward. So he loses here. Keith Lee pulls him up, shakes his hand, and out come the Acclaimed for a 51 to try and beat down Keith Lee and Lance Archer. Okay. Doesn't work. Keith Lee and Lance Archer beat them up and shake hands to end the show. We're going to go forward with Keith Lee and Lance Archer tag team. It wasn't what I originally planned. I originally planned a feud between the two, obviously, and we were going to continue that feud, but there's no way Lance Archer, after the death of Jake Roberts in game, could be a heel. So let's stick in with a big man in a big tag team, I think. It's a tag team that has potential. We'll make it work. If I look at handle changes... Okay, so he was actually already a babyface. Okay, so I'm not going to turn him heel. This was meant to turn him face after being a heel. So we will just get rid of that. Don't worry about that. We don't need that. Don't worry. He'll be a babyface. It'll be babyface Archer, babyface Lee as a tag team. And it seems like the Acclaimed are going to be set up as the first feud. Right, that's Dynamite then. It's not going to be quite the 71 and 70 levels we've been hitting recently, but it does get 63. Considering the main event, not bad. We don't have that killer match on the show this week. We didn't have Danielson wrestling, which is a big part of that. But everything else is around a similar sort of level, mid-50s to 60s. And the main event that I would have had, Sammy Guevara and CM Punk, was pretty good. I think we're looking at a 65 if that's the main event, but we're splitting hairs. 63, it's not quite as good, but it's still a pretty solid show. Let's see if Rampage does better. Wardlow, Eddie Kingston, the big 10-man tag we just mentioned. And yeah, we're also going to set up a pretty big match for Dynamite, so let's watch this space. Alright then, time for Rampage, and we kick off on the pre-show in Hawaii because, or why not, 52 rated Matt Hardy beats Matt Sydal. Yeah, good. Solid mid-card match, 52 once again, like we're talking about. 54 for Matt Hardy, Matt Sydal 44. A lot of these guys are a similar sort of level. There's a few ahead that talk the likes of Hangman, the likes of Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Jon Moxley, Adam Cole to a point. The rest are all a little lower, so we're in a similar level for everyone, which is quite nice in a way. You can always put on a decent match. 52 is fine. Also on the pre-show, we did a women's tag match. Ty J, yeah, defeated the Bunny and Penelope Ford for a 42. Again, this is pretty solid. Helped by Ty Conti's good performance. Annie J off again, which is a shame. But she got the pin, pinning Penelope Ford with a scissors kick. Cool. Let's move on to the main show. We open with Wardlow versus Eddie Kingston. And remember, if Eddie Kingston wins, MJF will give him a match. MJF made sure Eddie Kingston didn't win. Wardlow gets the win for a 54 with a Splash Mountain Powerbomb after a distraction from MJF. Eddie Kingston 61, Wardlow 45, so 54. Good. And a good win for Wardlow. I'm hoping this will help him. It's a sort of solid storyline you would have expected to see. Like Wardlow doing the dirty work for MJF at this point still. We're not doing the turn yet. It's a little early for me. Still a little early. So yeah, this is about right. And look, the MJF Eddie Kingston feud so far has been pretty good. Let's not quite do the match yet. We're building to it. He's denying him. We now need to get it to a point where Eddie Kingston becomes undeniable. That's not a Cody Rhodes reference. I'm not bringing him back. 54. Solid. Okay, cool. Let's go backstage where Layla Hirsch and Serena Deeb are talking straight to the camera, talking to Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. And Serena Deeb, in a clever, experienced heel way, is looking to, add some tension to the women's division. So she proposes a challenge next week on Rampage. A tag team match. Layla Hirsch and Serena Deeb against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. Now, we saw it last week on Rampage. But next week, why don't we up the stakes and we make it winner takes the title. Tornado tag, winner takes the title. So four of those women go in and only one of them can be champion. Layla Hirsch, Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida or Thunder Rosa. We'll find out next week. I'm doing something interesting there. That's my plan. With the match type. Hopefully it'll be a good match. More bragging from Ricky Starks for a 67. Talking about Jon Moxley. Talking about how Moxley recognises his star talent. When Powerhouse Hobbs just sort of says, you know what? The thing is, I'd have beaten him. I would have beaten Jon Moxley. And Ricky Starks goes, you think so, huh? You think so? Why don't you do it then? And how Starks putting the challenge out in a way on behalf of Powerhouse Hobbs. We're going to do Powerhouse Hobbs versus Jon Moxley on Dynamite. So yeah, 67. Good. The Acclaimed are also cutting promo on Keith Lee and Lance Archer after being laid out at the end of Dynamite. I forgot to say, by the way, the whole point was that they laid them out with both men hitting a DDT. Jake Roberts. I think if we do them as a tag team, which is the plan, get names down in the comments. Keith Lee and Lance Archer's tag team name, but I think having both men hitting a DDT, double DDT finishers, Let's bring the DDT back as a thing in memorial of him, so to speak. But yeah, the Acclaim put the challenge out there. They want Keith Lee and Lance Archer next week on Rampage. Okay, let's go back to the ring. Ruby Soho took on Britt Baker for a 52. Ruby beating Britt Baker with a fast roll-up, catching one out of nowhere. And Britt Baker, who's kind of just lost a little bit of a screw since losing the title, losing their mind, taking it off the match here. 55 for Baker, 47 for Soho, 52. Good. Okay, 71 for this. This is interesting. Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin and Sting all in the same segment. Backstage, Bryan Danielson approaches Darby Allin and offers to be Darby Allin's mentor because, as Danielson says, let's face it, I would be a better mentor than that face-painted freak. That's what Danielson calls Sting, yeah, Sting comes into shot and says, you know what, you think you'll be better than me? Why don't you prove it on Dynamite? Sting versus Bryan Danielson is made. That's a hell of a main event for next week's Dynamite, if you asked me, and I think it is. We said CM Punk wouldn't be happy. 70 rated promo here on Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. Jericho's meant to be off screen. That's not great. Punk complains about the defeat. He calls Sammy Guevara a coward, and he says, you know what? If Sammy Guevara was a real man, he wouldn't have to hide behind his friends. And Punk puts the challenge out there for Battle of the Belts 2. It'll be CM Punk, he says, taking on Sammy Guevara, and he wants to do it inside a steel cage to stop any Jericho interference. In theory. Okay, challenge made for the TBS title. Lots of challenges tonight. Jay puts the challenge out, and finally wants the title shot. We've been building to it for a while, so finally wants the title shot. Main event, the Super Click against Dark Order for a 60 and a win for the Super Click. Adam Cole pins Alex Reynolds with a flying crossbody. This is pretty good for a main event. It's an average week in a way, but a solid week, and that's what we're kind of going for here. Storyline beats. And Adam Cole carries it with a 64. Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson also up there, 66, 65, of course. Dark Order lower than you'd expect, of course, but it is the database. Post-match is the important thing. Because post-match, the Super Click celebrate when the Young Bucks are kicked out. Adam Cole and Red Dragon finally have enough and attack the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson. They leave the Young Bucks lane. Adam Cole turns on his friend. We're turning the Young Bucks babyface. It's about time. We will turn Nick Jackson. Thank you very much. We will turn Matt Jackson. Thank you very much. The Young Bucks are now babyfaces. And I've got an Adam Cole, Red Dragon hole in their sights for a 53. A big storyline to end the show. Gets us a 60. Solid Rampage. We can do better, but we could do worse as well, considering the people involved in matches. It wasn't a match week this week. Next week, though, certainly is, because we've got some big matches. And those matches then include Bryan Danielson versus Sting. They include Jon Moxley versus Powerhouse Hobbs. We're doing Brian Pillman Jr. versus Griff Garrison. We're doing Adam Page versus Jay Lethal. We're going to do CM Punk versus Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite as well. Big Dynamite. And over, of course, on Rampage, we've got that big tag match where anyone can take the title. Keith Lee and Lance Archer will team up. And that's on the verge of Battle of the Belts. So we're starting to build some big matches. Hopefully we'll have a better week. It was an off week in a way, but we'll see what happens on Friday 4:30. Don't miss it. If you liked it, drop a like on it. We'll also have WrestleMania results next episode. I'm intrigued to see what they do. Until next time, peace.